Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode, we're going to be doing a review of my KLIM helmet, which is the Krios, which I've got. So when I was at home, I was telling my wife I probably should do a review of my helmet, and she said, "Why don't you go to Seki-san, your mate, up in Gunma? Maybe do the review in front of all of the helmets and in his fantastic shop." And I've ridden up from Tokyo this morning to do the review of my helmet. So I've had this helmet probably for around about almost coming on a year somewhat now. So I've got some great experience with it. And as you know, probably on my channel, I'm a bit of a BMW fanboy. This explains itself as well. Bit of a KLIM fanboy at the same time. So I came up here this morning. We've toured around in this neighborhood, this beautiful scenery of Gunma. And now we're basically just going to be doing a review of the helmet. So in front of you on display has got a variety of helmets that are available in different colors. Some of the features that I personally really much enjoy is it's really quiet for me. So prior to owning this helmet, did I find very often on the motorway, did I have to put my windshield up for the wind to be able to be deflected over my head and so forth. Now I find I don't really need to do that very often. Unless it's a really windy day or there is dirty air coming off a truck in front of me, which is then knocking you around. In those kind of situations, at times, do you find yourself probably that you would probably put the windshield up? However, just sitting on the motorway, probably at the speeds of 100 to 120, depending upon what the speed limits are, I find you just sit there and I have no issues, no concerns whatsoever. Because when I was considering purchasing this helmet, that's one of the features that Seki-san mentioned to me, is like the aerodynamics of the peak and so forth, and the design of the helmet with the back end spoiler deflection of the wind. I can really easily sit on the motorbike in the wind on the motorway, and I don't need to put that front shield up. I find myself very often now being lazy. I can just sit there and just tolerate it. And I don't have any problems with my neck. I've been riding up 400 or 500 kilometers in a day. That's what's absolutely amazing from this helmet. So as the wind is then coming along, guys, it can handle the wind turbulence without any issues, any concerns whatsoever. That's been an amazing advancement in my overall experience of riding on the motorway so far. So for me, that's got a great thumbs up. I think the only probably point that I struggled with at the moment is the neck end feature of this helmet. It's a little bit longer for me. So I do find myself, because I've got I think I've got quite a shorter neck. In the winter times, when I wear like a muffler or something, do I find then that might be rubbing up against the jacket? It's not really a discomfort. It's just a little bit of a hindrance that I become a little bit more tighter in my neck area. But that's a very, very small advantage. I found ways to use different neck covers or whatever to be able to circumvent that challenge. But overall, I think that probably it's like I said, it's a very, very small hindrance, and it's a very small actual. It has in the front, it has basically two ventilation areas. So it's got the front ventilation area, and it's very easy to understand. Basically, when you push up, it's closed. When you pull down, it's open. And then under here, under the peak area, does it have it at the same time as well? It is a full carbon helmet. It's extremely light to carry around. I found myself as well at times when I was basically like putting my helmet on, you forget to tie up your helmet strap. Who hasn't done that? Who's not found themselves in that situation? I've done it many times with my previous helmet. What's great about this, guys, this has a magnetized helmet strap. So you don't have to take your gloves off. You don't basically have to then find yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, I've got to take my gloves off. I've got to basically redo my helmet. No, this is magnetized, which is really, really cool, which is an amazing feature. So basically you just lip it on and boom, it touches, and that's it. I've never ever had a situation where I felt that the helmet might be too loose. It's that easy. You don't need to take your gloves off, boom, that's it, and it's secured. So what we're just going to show you here is the photochromic feature of this visor, which Seki-san had installed in my helmet when I purchased the helmet. It's one of the features he said to me, Arch, that I really should consider. It's been a real eye-opener for me, and it's been a real advantage as well. On the previous helmet I had, did I struggle to get sunglasses in because it was so tight on the sides? And then I found myself in a situation where I was always riding with a dark visor. Even though late at night, obviously you can't stop and change the visor, which was really painful. So with this feature that we have in the helmet from KLIM fitted, so whenever you ride into the sun, will it then slowly then discolor itself and color itself to a darker version, which is a real advantage for me, which I really appreciate. So I'm going to walk out of the shop now, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how fast and how soon that the visor discolors itself to a darker lens model. So then you basically don't find yourself in a situation when you're riding into the sun that possibly you would get blinded by the sun, as they would say, right? That's a great song, by the way. Okay, so let's walk outside. And I'm going to hold the visor up straight into the sun, and you can see it slowly coloring itself, which is phenomenal. Now, I've never found myself in a situation when riding, because I've had this helmet for almost about a year now, where it's been uncomfortable, or I've been unable to adjust whatsoever. Never in any situations I found myself having an issue whatsoever. This feature is for me a real seller, and that's the reason why I'm so happy that I chose for this this helmet, guys. And then when you walked in, eventually when you walked in back into the shop, which would then simulate us going in to a tunnel, basically then it goes to clear again, coming out of the tunnel, it slowly then discolors itself basically to go then dark because you're back into the sun. It slowly and gradually does it, so you don't just, it doesn't flip straight away, because if it would do that, your pupils would not be able to adjust and you'd find yourself blinded and so forth. So what we're going to do now is we're going to venture back into the shop, and you can see that slowly the visor would then start coloring itself back to normal again, which is fantastic. And I don't know how good the GoPro is going to pick this up, but I know from my perspective, I can see it already, it's going back to normal. And for me, that's a real seller. That is phenomenal. And I've got friends, you know, who basically have full-time just a dark visor, specifically later in the year when the sun gradually comes down in an earlier state and you're still riding on your motorbike. Guys, I don't have any issues whatsoever. The only thing that I needed to get used to in the beginning is when you've got your visor up and then the sun is beating down on it, it will then give you some of the shadows of the peak onto the visor, but that's probably gone within less than 5 seconds. It's readjusted itself again. So no concerns, no issues whatsoever. A great feature of this helmet. So overall, guys, that's my review of this helmet. So thanks, guys. See you later.